So you're in your early 60s and you're wondering when you should take Social Security. Maybe you just turned 62 and it's right there in front of you, and maybe you want to turn it on, but is that the right choice? Or maybe you want to take it at 65. You have a couple more years to work and you're wondering, should you take it at 65, full retirement age, wait till 70? Well, today we're going to go over a case study with a couple who are 62. They want to start taking Social Security at 65 when they retire, but they're curious what the benefits are for one of them waiting, both of them waiting, both taking it at 65, or maybe one of them taking it at 62 right now. So we're going to go through and go through that case study with you. So a little bit background on me. My name is Wade Marcy. I am the president and managing partner of Unity Financial Planning Group here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a financial planner. I'm a financial advisor. And fun fact about our firm does do tax preparation and filing for a lot of our clients. We also handle a lot of wills and trusts here with an estate attorney on staff as well. So as we go through this, a little bit of housekeeping. From some, just some disclosures, we got to let you guys know this is for educational purposes only. This is not intended for this to be directed at you. Also, we use probability of success with Monte Carlo analysis. And so again, future returns do not mean they're going to be the same as historical returns. This is what software does, though. It's powerful. It shows you guys what is possible. But again, this is for educational purposes only. This is not legal advice, tax advice, or financial advice for you. This is for educational purposes. So as we get into this, I want you guys to follow along. Picture yourself getting close to retirement. Also, I've done a lot of the upfront work. Just imagine I just sat down with a couple who's 62 and I got all their information ahead of time, so you don't have to go through all that. I will give you a little bit of background on them because I think that'll make things easier for you guys to have a better idea of where they're at in their spending. So let me get into it. I'm going to go through a little bit of background on them right now. They have some money in the bank, but we're not going to include it in their plan because we don't want the software pulling from it in retirement. So they do have an emergency fund, though. The investments they have here, they each have a 401k, one has an IRA, and then they have a joint brokerage account totaling about $730,000. As I mentioned before, they're both 62. They also have a little bit left on the mortgage, but their house is valued at $340,000. For income right now, spouse number one has been the higher income earner throughout their career. They make about $100,000 right now. Spouse number two makes $60,000. And we have estimated some Social Security amounts in here for at full retirement age. Spouse number one is going to be bringing in about $3,000 a month for example purposes. And spouse number two, because they have not made as much in their career, is going to be about $1,500 a month at full retirement age. So we're going to go through this savings. They're both putting about 5% of their salary into their 401ks. Expenses in their retirement are going to mirror their expenses now. So right now they're spending about $4,500 a month on pre-retirement living expenses, and they file jointly. They've got a retirement goal at 65, so 3 years from now, and they don't anticipate their retirement expenses being any different than their pre-retirement expense. They just want to live comfortably. I do want you to keep in mind this $4,500 does not include their roughly $1,000 mortgage payment that they have. They've owned the home for about 25 years. And so, eventually that home will be paid off and that'll free up $1,000 in their plan. So just assume about $5,500 a month. We do have some healthcare costs embedded into the plan as well. A long-term care estimation here is crucial to the plan because in the last 2 years of the plan is when that cost is going to come due. So that's important to know there. And then they have a little vacation goal. They like to do a little traveling of about $2,500 a year. So we're going to get into it right now. We're going to look at their retirement tab. And right now, as it stands, they came to us. Great probability of success. They live within their means. They have enough to retire at 65. But again, that's not the question. We know they can retire. The question is, when should they start taking Social Security? So as we come down here, we can see an age of 65, a little morbid, but we've got a planning horizon of about 90 years old. We can move that to the right or to the left. Their monthly expense in retirement is here. Their asset allocation is about a 50-50, so 50% in equities, 50% in fixed income. And so just know they've got about a very balanced portfolio in retirement. As it stands now, they both want to take Social Security at their retirement, but we're going to look at these strategies here so you can have an idea of what makes the most sense for them. Right off the bat, they came to us and said, look, we're going to try to spend a little bit more than we did last year to keep up with inflation. Everything's going to get a little bit more expensive. Well, it's not that accurate when it comes to retirement. We use what's called the retirement spending smile, where you're going to end up spending more money in the first few years of your retirement. You're free, you've been working for 30 years, and as you progress in retirement, your spending starts to go down a little bit. And then you get to the middle point, and then healthcare costs start going up, and then the last 2 years of your life, you've got your long-term care expense. So it actually creates a retirement spending smile. So that was one of the first things we looked at, and we can actually adjust that form and hit refresh, and we're going to see an increase in the plan right away. Already they're at 97%, a much larger ending portfolio to leave to beneficiaries, and mind you, that is in today's dollars. Essentially, future dollars is going to look a little different. So as we continue to look at this, we'll see that they, again, $4,500 a month. Just taking it at 65, they've got a 97% probability of success. Well, let's say that maybe one of them wants to take it at 65. Spouse number 2 takes it immediately when they retire, but spouse number 1 takes it at 70. Wonder what that would do to the plan as we look. That increases their plan even more. And what that would do is that your higher earner of the two has a higher Social Security amount. This protects the lower earning spouse in the event of a unexpected passing of spouse number 1, right? Because if something happens to spouse number 1, spouse number 2 is going to get an increase in their Social Security called a spousal benefit. So that's important to look at. It protects the spouse and allows them to have an increase in their income, because a lot of times expenses don't change that much when one passes away. Maybe you spend a little less, but having a bump in income is crucial. In the event this client wants to both take it at age 70, right? We just are going to wait all the way to age 70. What would that do to the plan? Well, it's actually going to increase their probability of success a little bit, but not enough to move the needle where they maybe should both wait till 70. So for them, a customized spouse number 1 waiting till 70, spouse number 2 taking it at 65. These clients have a brokerage account, right? So that means that they are going to be pulling dollars out of that first in retirement. They're going to let their tax-deferred vehicles grow and continue to grow. They'll pull money from their brokerage to live until they start taking Social Security, and taxes stay low during that time. So that is why their probability of success will actually go up, because they're not having to pull from their deferred vehicles yet. So as we look at this, the client says, well, we've got 100% probability of success if we retire at 65. Well, what happens if we retire at say 64? And we'll put that in there for the client and say, okay, well, we're both at 64. What does that do to your plan? And we've got a 96% probability of success. I think that's a great probability of success. So now they came in wondering when they can take Social Security, and we've now shown them that they actually can retire a year earlier than they thought. Well, maybe we're looking at 63. Does 63 make sense for us to take, retirement? Just take it by the reins, and we'll see what this percentage goes to. It goes to 86% and a $940,000 ending portfolio. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I like this probability of success to be a little higher. So what does that mean? Well, does that mean they can't retire at 63? Not at all. What that means is we probably should supplement some income in there, maybe for about $35,000 or so from one of the spouses to go get a part-time job somewhere, and then it bumps your probability of success up to 97%. These clients, they love their job. They're going to probably keep working a few more years. It's only going to add to their plan. However, now they know they're in a position to make a decision where if something goes awry at work, well, they're in a really good position because they can then retire if they want to. They don't have to go through the job search again to find a full-time job, right? So again, this is them living well within their means, and they came to us and wondering about Social Security, walked away knowing that they could retire earlier if they wanted to. So just keep that in mind as you are navigating the Social Security world on making the best decisions, what's efficient, protecting your spouse, but also bringing in a good amount of income in retirement to live comfortably. So I appreciate your time today watching this video. I'm hoping to do a lot more here in the future. Again, this is for educational purposes only. This was a shorter video in regards to Social Security. We're going to do a lot of these case studies on retirement income planning and all of that. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and share. Social Security is important. For now, it's here. We're going to utilize it as most efficiently as we can. Thanks so much. Don't forget to share it with a friend.